It was right before I was to take on my duties of protecting the president's daughter when she was abducted. That's the ultimate reason I'm in this lonely and rural part of Europe. According to our intelligence, there's reliable information about a sighting of a girl that looks very similar to the president's daughter. Apparently, she's being withheld by some unidentified group of people. Who would have thought that my first job would have been a rescue mission?
It's freezing. So cold all of a sudden. Must be my imagination. Sorry it took so long.
If you played Resident Evil 4 earlier this year on the GameCube, you might think you actually know what to expect out of Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 2. Well, you'd only be partially right. Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 2 will contain all of the content found on the GameCube version, but Capcom has actually gone ahead and included some new features exclusively for the PlayStation 2 to make it more than just a simple port. The new content for the PlayStation 2 includes typical stuff like a new weapon and new costumes for Leon and Ashley, as well as Separate Ways, a new 5-chapter minigame starring Ada Wong. Longtime fans of the series will probably recognize Ada from the previous installments of Resident Evil, as well as from Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, where she had several cameos. Probably the one key thing that anyone that picks up Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 2 will be looking at are the graphics. There's been a lot of speculation as to how it's going to stack up to the incredibly high standards set on the GameCube. When Resident Evil 4 was released earlier this year for the Cube, it set a new standard for visuals on that platform, and there are a lot of people that have been wondering if it's even possible to recreate them on the PlayStation 2. Well, we've played through it, we've played through the new content as well, and we're to tell you it comes pretty close. Obviously, you're going to be seeing kind of some reduced clarity on some reduced detail and textures and a few odds and ends that will stick out if you look for them, but overall the game does still pack a very impressive graphical punch. But rather than just reuse levels from the main game for the 5 chapters in Separate Ways, Capcom's actually gone ahead and created a brand new environment for a level that you've never actually seen that will follow Ada on a very particular mission. Now, while it may sound that Separate Ways is just reusing assets from the main game, it's not entirely true. One of the levels in the game is an all-new level set aboard this kind of like derelict battleship that's going to follow Ada on one of her missions, and it's something that you've never actually seen before in the game. Based on what we've seen so far, Resident Evil 4 is coming along really nicely on the PlayStation 2. The visuals are tight, the gameplay is pretty much spot on, and the extra content is a good plus. Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 2 ships this fall. Look for our review shortly.